The story of Moses and the crossing of the Red Sea is one of the most iconic and powerful episodes in the Bible, found in the book of Exodus. This account not only highlights Moses' courageous leadership, but also God's miraculous intervention at a time of great need. After years of slavery in Egypt, the Israelites finally see themselves freed by God's mighty hand through the plagues that forced Pharaoh to let them go. However, the journey to freedom would not be easy. Facing seemingly insurmountable obstacles and an army determined to recapture them, the Israelites needed a miracle to survive. The crossing of the Red Sea is not just a story of escape, but a powerful demonstration of faith and God's faithfulness to His people. Let's dive into this fascinating story, exploring every detail from the departure from Egypt to the moment the Israelites sing praises to God for their deliverance. The Israelites had long been under the yoke of Egyptian slavery, suffering forced labor and mistreatment. God heard the cry of His people and sent Moses, a Hebrew raised in Pharaoh's house, to be their leader and deliverer. Moses, after a series of encounters with God at the burning bush, returned to Egypt with his brother Aaron to confront Pharaoh. With courage and determination, Moses delivered God's message, "Let my people go." Pharaoh, however, with a hardened heart, repeatedly refused, resulting in the 10 plagues that devastated Egypt. Each plague was a sign of God's power and an opportunity for Pharaoh to change his mind, but he remained inflexible. Finally, after the last plague, the death of the firstborns, Pharaoh relented. The Israelites quickly prepared, gathering their possessions and departing in the dead of night. Led by Moses, they set out into the desert, trusting in God's promises. The journey was long and arduous, but they were guided by a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, signs of God's constant presence among them. As the Israelites advanced, Pharaoh began to regret his decision to let them go. He realized he had lost a valuable workforce and decided to pursue the Israelites to bring them back. He gathered his army, including his best chariots and horsemen, and set out in pursuit. The Israelites, already facing the challenges of the desert, now had a deadly enemy on their heels. When they reached the edge of the Red Sea, the situation seemed desperate. Ahead, a vast body of water. Behind, the rapidly approaching Egyptian army. The people panicked and began to complain to Moses, asking why he had brought them out of Egypt only to die in the desert. Moses, however, remained calm and faithful. He told the people not to fear and to trust in God, promising that they would see the Lord's salvation that day. This was a crucial test of faith, not only for Moses, but for all the Israelites. They were about to witness one of the greatest miracles in all of biblical history. Moses, obeying God's instructions, raised his staff over the sea. Throughout the night, the Lord made a strong east wind blow, which divided the waters and turned the seabed into dry land. The waters formed a wall to the right and to the left, creating a safe path for the Israelites to cross. This miraculous event is one of the most dramatic and visually striking moments in the Bible. Imagine the scene. A mass of people, animals, and wagons crossing a dry seabed, with enormous walls of water on each side. This was an undeniable testimony of God's power and a confirmation that He was with His people. The people began to cross with fear and wonder, but trusting that God would keep them safe. The path through the sea was not short, and they had to move quickly, as the threat of the Egyptian army still loomed over them. The crossing was a journey of faith, where every step was a test of trust in God. As the Israelites crossed, the Egyptian army arrived and began to pursue them along the same path between the walls of water. However, God was watchful and caused the wheels of the Egyptian chariots to come off, making their progress difficult. The soldiers began to realize that they were fighting against the very God of Israel and tried to retreat, but it was too late. Moses, following God's instructions, stretched out his hand over the sea again, and the waters returned to their place, completely covering Pharaoh's army. None of the Egyptians survived. This was a moment of judgment and deliverance. The Israelites were finally free from the Egyptian threat. They reached the other shore of the sea safely, and when they saw the bodies of the dead Egyptians on the beach, they realized the full extent of the miracle God had performed for them. This event not only saved them from imminent destruction, but also strengthened their faith in God and in Moses as their leader. The crossing of the Red Sea represents the climax of the Israelites' escape from Egypt. This extraordinary miracle not only ensured their survival, but also served as a powerful reminder of God's sovereignty over nature and human kingdoms. For the Israelites, it was a confirmation that God was with them every step of their journey, willing to intervene directly to save them. The joy and relief among the people were immense. They had not only escaped slavery, but also witnessed the complete destruction of their pursuers. This event is often remembered and celebrated as a symbol of liberation and redemption. Moses and the Israelites sang a song of praise to God, thanking Him for His mighty hand that delivered them from danger. The Song of Moses, recorded in Exodus 15, is one of the oldest and most beautiful hymns of victory in the Bible, celebrating God's glory and strength. The impact of the crossing of the Red Sea was profound and lasting. This event was not only a milestone in the Israelites' physical journey to the Promised Land, but also a crucial point in their spiritual journey. They learned to trust God in a new and deeper way. The crossing also had significant implications for Moses as a leader. His unwavering faith and obedience to God were rewarded, and he gained even more respect and trust from the people. Moses, previously hesitant to accept his role as leader, now stood firm and resolute, guiding the Israelites with the assurance that God was by his side. The crossing of the Red Sea is a story that echoes through the ages, reminding believers of God's faithfulness and the power of faith. It is a narrative that continues to inspire and strengthen those facing their own sea crossings, just showing that with God, all things are possible. With safety guaranteed, the Israelites continued their journey through the desert toward the Promised Land. This was only the beginning of a long journey, full of challenges and trials. They faced food and water shortages, confrontations with other nations, and moments of doubt and rebellion. However, the crossing of the Red Sea remained a constant reminder of God's power and presence in their lives. Whenever they encountered difficulties, they could look back and remember how God had miraculously saved them. This event shaped the identity of the people of Israel, reaffirming their faith and trust in the Lord. The journey through the desert would not be easy, but they knew they were not alone. God's presence was with them, guiding and protecting them every step of the way. The crossing of the Red Sea also had a lasting impact on the surrounding nations. News of the miracle spread, and many nations feared the God of Israel. This event was a powerful testimony to God's power, showing that He was capable of doing the impossible to protect His people. This fear helped protect the Israelites from immediate attacks as they continued their journey. Additionally, the story of the crossing became a central part of Israel's tradition and collective memory. It was remembered and retold from generation to generation, reinforcing the faith and identity of the people. The crossing of the Red Sea was not just a historical event, but a formative experience that continued to influence the religious and cultural life of Israel for centuries. It was a constant reminder that God is faithful and powerful, able to save and sustain His people in all circumstances. The story of the crossing of the Red Sea is a powerful lesson in faith, trust, and dependence on God. It teaches us that even in seemingly impossible situations, God has the power to save and guide us. This narrative also shows us the importance of faithful and courageous leadership, exemplified by Moses, who, despite the difficulties and challenges, trusted in God and obeyed His instructions. For Christians today, the crossing of the Red Sea is a reminder that God is still present and active in our lives, ready to help us in our moments of need. It is a story that encourages us to maintain our faith, even when facing insurmountable obstacles, knowing that God is capable of making a way where there seems to be none. Thank you for watching this video about the crossing of the Red Sea. We hope you found inspiration and strength in this powerful story of faith and deliverance. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring Bible stories. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Your participation and support are very important to us. Leave your comments below and tell us what you thought of this story and what other stories you would like to see on the channel. We look forward to seeing you in the next videos. God bless you all and see you next time.